We have breaking news. The Toronto Maple Leafs have made an absolutely shocking move. Ryan Reaves has been placed on waivers. We're going to break down why this happened, some new reports that have come out, and another move, a trade, is imminent. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, folks, quick reminder, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel and you're enjoying the Daily Leafs content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, making multiple videos a day for you all. We're on the road to 16,000 subscribers. Darius, this is a shocking move, and not in the sense that, Ryan Reaves was a fantastic player, but this is a guy they've held on to for a while. They haven't really talked about waiving him, putting him in any trade talks because he has value, or had value, in the playoffs as a physical guy. He is now no longer a Toronto Maple Leaf. He has been placed on waivers, at least at the time of this moment. He's no longer a Toronto Maple Leaf. There's a bunch of different things here. But Darius, I know you're a big Ryan Reaves guy. You were on record saying there's a good chance that he plays in the playoffs, game 1 or 2 for the Leafs here. They've placed him on waivers. Clearly with Calle Yarncroc, they don't see him as, a needed option. But what this means in the grand scheme of things, we'll dive into in a minute from Chris Johnson here. A bigger move is coming. Now, whether that's Mikko Rantanen or one player we'll dive into in a minute, this is a shocking move just in the sense of I never thought they were actually going to place him on waivers.
Well, this I mean is crazy. And this really tells us a lot about what they're trying to do and tells us a couple different things. And first of all, I will get into the fact that Ryan Reaves is not really going anywhere. He's going to go down to the Marlies. Nobody's going to claim Ryan Reaves, especially today, right? With everyone trying to make trades. So nobody's going to claim him. He's going to go back to the Marlies, and come playoff time, he's going to come back up and he's going to be with the Leafs. And I think that he'll get into game 1, 2, maybe 3 of the playoffs. So he's not really going anywhere. They're just doing this to make some room. This to me tells me that they don't want to move off Calle Yarncroc, which I think wouldn't be a good move anyway. He's looked good since he's come back, and he could be a nice little option for the Leafs in the playoffs. He's never been a bad player for the Leafs, never really come up big in big moments, but he doesn't get paid to do that either. So that's fine. So we'll see if they end up keeping him, but they're freeing up salary, right? They're freeing up $1.15 million of salary by doing this. So in doing this, this means there's a move coming, right? Like they're going to make a trade here either later today or tomorrow. They're making space for a trade, and they've made their decision, I think, on Calle Yarncroc and maybe a couple other guys that, they're going to waive Ryan Reaves instead of trading somebody else to free up this salary cap space. So they're finally making moves. It's actually happening right now, and it's going to be very interesting to see what move that is.
Yeah, now regarding what actually the cap space they free up, the Leafs free up at least $1.15 million in cap space ahead of the trade deadline by placing him on waivers. That's what they save if he clears and they assign him to the AHL. Should another team put in a claim, which isn't expected, they'll shed his entire 1.35. So yeah, I guess there is still technically a chance that he does start game 1 like your prediction said, and depending on what the matchup is. At the end of the day, though, they made this move because they value either some other players on the roster, more specifically Calle Yarncroc, and B, Ryan Reaves is probably not going to get claimed. Now, if he does get claimed, that's an interesting story. Things maybe change a little bit there, but they're fine. They'll probably will keep him depending on who they make a move for here in the coming hours, or coming day or so, next 24 to 28 hours, depending on who they make a move for. You might still see Ryan Reaves play for the Leafs again this season. Looking at his JFresh chart, he's been pretty bad. It's not been a good year for him. That's why he got put on waivers. 52% on EV defense. He does what he does. He's gotten in one fight this year, all these different things. I'm happy that he's gone, quite frankly. I haven't enjoyed his style of play this year. They've had other guys who have been physical. Even Matthew Nyes has started to step up and getting in a fight yesterday. But this one is, it's shocking in the sense of, again, his cap hit's 1.35. I just never thought they were going to do it. He has 2 points in 35 games. He's been playing less and less. He played a couple games ago, but now with Calle Yarncroc, he looks very solid out there. He's actually producing plays. He's making things happen on that fourth line, which is something we didn't see, obviously, from Ryan Reaves or in general. But there's a couple other things to go over here. You mentioned it. They are opening up cap space because the trade is coming. Now, whether that is a Mikko Rantanen trade is still up in the air, though I do think the Leafs are finalists for Mikko Rantanen. If they do decide to trade him, things are starting to pick up on that front. But another guy who's being held out tonight is Brandon Tanev. You can see this here. He's held out for protection reasons. We'll probably have another video on this later tonight as things continue to pick up. But people are saying now that this is a precursor for a Brandon Tanev move or a move in general. But what we do know is that this is the precursor for a trade of some sort. So at least we can be rest assured that a trade will be happening, and also won't be Riley Smith because he just got traded away as well. And let's not forget another note since the last video, the Panthers have been making more moves as well.
Yeah, the Panthers just traded for Sturm from the San Jose Sharks. They make a depth move. Obviously, other teams are getting better within the division, like you just mentioned. And, I didn't think that they were ever going to do this either, but this is what they needed to do to free up this salary cap space to make a move. And Tanev is an interesting one. At the time that this happened, they just announced 5 minutes before this waiver, putting Ryan Reaves on waivers, that Brandon Tanem's being held out tonight, like right before that this was, announced. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they're pivoting to that. I guess at this point, it would be an odd move to me at this point with Gord being gone. If they were to just do this, it would be because you need that center. We've been talking about it, so it would be an odd move. It would be a very reactive move, like I talked about in a video earlier today from the Toronto Maple Leafs. So again, they've been kind of loosely linked. They're not directly linked right now, but I think the timing of all of this is very interesting. And the Leafs are going to make a move. It's coming in the next couple hours. It's going to come before tomorrow. They are going to make a trade. I mean, obviously, Brad Treliving, we've been talking about him saying maybe they'll stand pat. They're not going to do that. They're going to make a trade. And obviously, that, putting Ryan Reaves on waivers just makes it that much more obvious to me.
I mean, you have to now. And when Brad Treliving came out with those comments, that was before the Lightning got a lot better. It was before the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers have been the most active trade deadline team. They're also in talks now to discuss a goalie swap with the Winnipeg Jets, among other things, as reports are flying, even while we're recording, Capo Kakinen for Chris Dreger. So, I mean, you have a bunch of different things going on here. You also the NHL right now is crazy. It's been one of the craziest trade deadlines, especially if you include the Mikko Rantanen initial trade before the trade deadline a month or so ago. And as it pertains to Mikko Rantanen, let me throw this one out there as because nothing is out of the realm of possibility here. I could see a world where they get a Brandon Tanev, and of course, if they get Mikko Rantanen, that would make a lot of sense as well, because Brandon Tanev is someone who elevates your floor. And if they do go out and get Brandon Tanev, let's say in the next few hours, I have a feeling they're probably going to get Brandon Tanev. It just makes a lot of sense with the Canada thing, and of course his brother Chris Tanev. If they go out and it doesn't have to be Mikko Rantanen, but if Tanev's the only move, it makes no sense. I mean, they'd almost be better off just running Calle Jarnkrok there and just running what they've been rocking. But if they get another player that they're trying to go even more all in, then Brandon Tanev could help elevate the floor of what that fourth line is, especially if they're going to be shipping some of their fringe guys out, whether that be Bobby McMann in a Rantanen trade, Pontus Holmberg in another trade, even Nick Robertson. Like, Tanev makes sense if it's insurance for another player heading out in a bigger deal, which I'm hoping is the case because I'm really in on Mikko Rantanen here, but it's going to be, we're going to have to wait and see.
Like you said, Brandon Tanev alone wouldn't make any sense for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So they must have a couple moves up their sleeve here. And I mean, and with putting Reaves on waivers, this kind of opens up the door now to free up some salary cap space in that way. But they can also move off someone like you alluded to, like maybe Max Domi or maybe Bobby McMann is, included in the trade. Matthew Nyes as well, although it wouldn't free up that much salary. So it's going to be a crazy 24 hours as we head towards the trade deadline here, but the Leafs are definitely making a move. They would not have waived Ryan Reaves for no reason to not make a move. Like, they're definitely planning something here. I just don't know the size of what they're planning. If it's Brandon Tanev alone, doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, that's the question now. Is it going to be a huge trade? I'm hoping so, because you have the Panthers making moves, Seth Jones, you have the Tampa Bay Lightning, a bunch of different players, Yanni Gourde obviously being the highlight of their package, and it's now on Brad Treliving to step up, and at least this is step one in what's hopefully going to be a crazy 24 hours. I think more than that. I think a crazy next few hours ahead of the end of trade deadline day eve, whatever you want to call it. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below. Also, let's not forget, the Leafs are heavily linked to a bunch of defensemen, so maybe this is opening up salary for a defenseman who has less salary, because again, the defensemen that they're targeting aren't the top pairing guys. So let us know down below what your thoughts are. Things are getting crazy. We'll keep you up to date with all the latest news.